All right. I hope everyone is doing well today. We're going to be looking at something that I think I've referred to quite a bit, but haven't actually talked about in a long time. I went back and looked at Discord and went back, and I think the last time I did this as a live stream as well. So yesterday was a little weird. I streamed for about an hour. I put that I was live on Discord, and I've been messing around a lot more with the settings and things like that in YouTube. And I streamed yesterday with the settings on private. So that's why no one was here. So that was a little weird. But I hope everyone is doing well. So the premise of the topic for today is like I said, that this came through in Discord almost 2 years ago. Now to it was like October or something. I went back. You can actually see how the conversation got started. But basically, it was how many combinations of seats are there in this stadium? So it was I think the real question was a cricket stadium. So what happens is the zeros represent an empty seat, an available seat, and the 1 is an occupied seat. So that's fairly comprehensible. So the way that we're going to do this is we need to iterate through and take in our grouping. So the information that you have, the information that you're given in the question is the size of seat combinations and the size of the array. So you are given because these online challenges that you do have, they are you get graded on how much memory it takes, how fast it is, basically the cost. Because when you get more advanced, you will need to take into account how many times are you going through your object. Because the larger company you get with, I mean, Facebook and Amazon Web Services, all of these companies are they have millions or billions of rows of data, and if you're going through each individual line, you're gonna have a major problem, and you're gonna need to find a way to do this as efficiently as possible. So let's do a graphical representation of this. So in this example, you had rows and seats, or rows and columns, however. And we'll talk about what we're going to convert. But the answer to this question, and we have to understand how to do it. So the answer that we would get, that we're expecting, is 16. 16 combinations of 3. So in this first row, 1, 2, 3, 4, because you could sit in this group of 3, you could sit in this group of 3, you could sit in this group of 3, or you could sit in this group of 3. And then here you have, let's go back here, you have 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 4 more down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, on and so forth. So 4, 12, then 14, 16. So that is the way that you're going to get to 16. So now what we need to do is we need to go through and how are we, you're going to hear this repeatedly, and the better you are at this step, going from human brain to Python brain, the easier programming will become. So if you're new here, thanks for joining us. We're going through a kind of like a coding challenge, and we're finding the number of occurrences of combinations of open seating. So when you see something like this, I see rows of data like so. So let's put this into memory. Why is that taking that long? That should not be taking that long. All right. Oh, there we go. Let's do that. F9. So I have this right here. So now, but if you are new to the channel, go ahead and say hey in chat. And I'm very interested in what time it is where you are. You can do it in Zulu or the time zone. Just very intrigued by that. All right. So we need to go through, and we call seating. We get an array, or an array of arrays, or a list of lists, because I want you to get comfortable with doing something like this. So we're going to use this, and don't forget in Python, zero index, because that's going to throw you off just a touch. If you're super new at Python, do not forget that Python is a zero indexing language. Index 1, because it's hard to differentiate between a bunch of zeros. But we're gonna use the second row right here that has some occupied seats in it. All right, that looked for a second that the stream got really bad feed. All right, we're good. All right, so if we were to look at these first 3 seats, nobody can sit there. We need to look at these next 3 seats. We can't sit there as a group of 3. But this third group, we can sit there and we can sit here. So we need to start building some stuff. Grouping. Actually, we need to do this first. We need to show you something that's a little weird but completely legal in Python. So I have this, and I'll multiply this by 3. And I just decided to do this as a string. I can't remember if this wasn't the problem or not, but I think that you could do this with zeros. It's fine. But I did this as strings. So if you look right here, I didn't get 3 lists of one object. I got the 3 objects. I multiplied. It multiplied. It got 3 bigger. So this is what the output would be. So my grouping here is I'm going to make this dynamic upon the number of seats that were given. So what the challenge was you're going to be given a dynamic in, and you need to then go from there. So if I were to change this to 5, it would only find the script we're going to make, it would only find the 5 seats, which I think then there are only 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's only 6 combinations of doing that. So wanted to show you this before I showed you it over here. So open, closed, and then we're multiplying it by n. Because we don't need to know how big to make this. We're going to get this input while we're going through it. So we multiply that by n. All right. So first, then we need seating. No, we're going to iterate. For row in seating, print row. All right. F9. So here we are. So if you look really close, it's close to seating, but it's not, because it's each individual row printed. If you look really, 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 really close. So now I'm doing this so you can get comfortable. For seat in row, print seat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the seats printed out here. F9. Each individual seat. Blah 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 blah. All right. Just to get you really comfortable with doing this. So now what we need to do is now we need to look at our grouping. So as I'm going through here, now this is where this gets a little weird. Let's look at something. So in the row, aha. So if I were to index something right here, I want to show you this first. So we're going to look at our second row, just like that. Now check this out. I'm going to index this right here. Now we have our grouping, right? Now this is where this gets really, really, really kind of weird. Just bear with me. Don't let this fool you that this is something magical. This is just a list. And to prove to you, we're going to do type. I like to do this so I can really wrap my head around it. So this, even though this is here, because hey, this is a list. I'm indexing off. This is a list. I'm indexing off a list, and I'm getting another list. So wait a minute. So that means it's a list of lists, or list of lists, or nested lists, or array of an array. However you would like to think about it. Sorry, my microphone, my little mesh guard was moving. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. Now I want to show you. Now we need to slice. Now we need to slice through our array. So let's begin to do this. I'm right here. So that's indexing, but I need to slice through it. So let's see, okay, wait a second. Now I remember. Bingo. So this simple little task right here, I'm now looking at the first 3 seats. So this is the building blocks that I've been driving home about algorithmic design, how I'm looking at this. So our human brain comes through here and goes, I need to check this 3. I need to check this 3. I need to check this 3. Well, we're going to do this. If we look at this, 3. So if I were to move over 1 seat, I still need 3. So now I'm looking at these 3. Now if I were to go over 1 more seat, and if you look at this combination here, the difference is 3. The difference is 3. The distance is 3, which I'm doing incrementing these over. Or it's always this plus 3. So we need to change this just a little bit. Just a little bit. So if you're new jumping on, glad to have you here. What we're doing is we're going through a stadium seating problem that came through on Discord. Don't know if it was an actual homework problem a few years ago, or if it was a coding challenge platform problem. So we need to change this just a touch. So there's going to be times where instead of reinventing the wheel and counting what space we're in, we're just going to utilize the tools that we have. So we were also given this information right here of size of 5 and 6. Size of 5, the number of rows, and 6, the number of seats per row or columns. So that is important because we're given this information, so we're not having to do any cost of running a len on each of these. So if I were to do len on seating, I get 5. Boom. And then if I were to do len on seating 0, I get 6. Okay. So let's do this. Row equals len. Nope. Size 0. So we're going to take this and we're going to instead of having to spend time or cost to iterate through this and count. I know len is fast, but it's still going through the entire contents and counting it for you. But it's just faster and it's more cost efficient, but it's still going through it. So we're going to use the information we have at hand. And then we're going to do columns. Yeah. Column equals size dot 1. There we go. So now I'm going to show you way to go through this. Oops. We're going to go through this doing something kind of cool. For I in range range row print seating dot I. Okay, what list object? Okay, list object cannot be interpreted as an int. List object cannot be interpreted as an int, but seating. Okay, what am I missing? Hey Vinky, how are you doing? Glad to have you here today. Yeah, I streamed yesterday. I don't think anybody was on when I was talking about this. I was streaming yesterday, and I couldn't figure out why anybody wasn't joining. And it was because I was doing some settings the day before because I'd messed some stuff up, and I made private some videos. And I had the whole stream I did yesterday was set to private. So I was like, I streamed for about an hour and a half going through this problem. And no one was here. I was like, that's a little, I didn't know what was frustrating. More frustrating, not having anybody show up the first stream or realizing that I left it on private. So, all right. So what we're doing right now is we're going through a stadium seating challenge. And we're looking for combinations of how many empty. So the zeros represent an empty seat. And a 1 is a occupied seat. So if we were given that we wanted to go with 3 friends, how many different seat combinations could we sit in? And if it was 3 out of all of these, there are 16 combinations, just like so. 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. Then to the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, because it was set to private. So no. It's not you, and it's not YouTube. It's complete user error. So this challenge came through probably October of 2022, and you can go back and actually see the conversation that we had. But the person who put this up just couldn't wrap their head around the combinations that they were sitting side. You want to sit with your friends, so 3 empty seats. We're going to iterate through, and then you look for the 2 seats beside you. Boom, 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 boom. So to me, this is just a static sliding window problem, because we're iterating through, and then we're going to look 2 seats over. Move over, look 2 seats over. Move over, 2 seats. Oops, nope, because only one of my friends could sit here, not a second one. So then I come, and we're just going to let it check all the way through. And then the next row, boom, 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 boom. So the output we're looking for is 16. So if we get 16 loops for each row in column, groups of 3. Yep, that's exactly right. So that's kind of where we are right now in our problem. Is this is the information you get in the challenge, in the not data set. That's not but the variables that you are given. You're given the size of the array, the list of lists, the array itself, and then how many seats together do you need. So what we're doing is we're beginning to take these this information and build what we need. So I don't know if you've seen this before on line 328. So to make this dynamic, I'm taking the number of individuals that you want to sit with. We have to be looking for an empty seat, and then multiplying it by the number of people in our group. So grouping, or I could just make that group. Now, we just went through, and because we're going to need to iterate through here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it's going to get really weird here, but that's fine. So what I was doing is I was showing that we were going to be iterating through, but we need an index. We need to be using the indexes. So we're going to be using this. And one for I in row range row print I, something like. Did I not rerun this? Oh, there we go. Let's block this. That's why. And I wasn't reading. All right. So bringing this in. So now row is bingo. For I in row range row print I. Bingo. So now if I come down here and do seating, oops, back up. Bingo. So now I've iterated through. So I'm doing this just slightly different. Let's see. Bingo. You're exactly right. 100%. So Vinky is on it if you're looking at chat. So we're going to tweak this a little bit. Range, row, and then print came up with better rows, row. Yeah, let's do rows, row and rows. Perfect. Columns, there we go. All right, print row. Yeah, why didn't that go? There we go. Print row. And here, 9, bingo. So now print seating, open, closed. There we go. Thought I still had an error. Now we're getting close. So as we're going through, Vinky's already nailed this down. And we looked at it back here. Boom. So grouping. Just like so. And then we also looked at seating. We're going to look at the second row because that has differential. Or we're going to look at the third row. And then column. No. So we have that. Then I need to, which this is also row. Nope. Don't let this fool you. Oh, that's not enough. That is also row. So if you're just joining us, we're going through a list of lists or an array of an array. And I know this is super weird. And if you need to make this a variable, because right here it is, it's row. So when we're doing this, I'm indexing, I'm getting the first element, first object, but then now if I change it to here, oh, can't change that, I can go here. Aha, because this is indexing, now this is slicing, but I only need to check 3 of them. Bingo. Okay, so cool. Now I have this. And for column in range columns, print column. Let's make sure I get this to run before we get into 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fantastic. All right. Now we get to do print column. Nope. Print row column. And then column plus n. Let's see if this did it. Row 0. Now it throws up seating. Seating row. Here we are. Feel like this is better, so I'll go over what I just did in just a second. All right. So seating is the, that is my full list of lists, my full list. So then I just want the first time through, it's this one. So I'm getting 0 index, then I'm slicing. So just like this. This is the equivalent of this and this right here. So when I rerun this, boom, I have each combination. So if you look at the end, and I don't know if this was done on purpose, because you can't have an index outside of course, a possible index. But you can slice more than you're saying. So if you look right here, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, because we're getting to this right here, we're checking this index and then 2 more. And then we're checking here and 2 more. Well, there is no third one, so you just get 2. Then we're checking here and 2 more. Well, there aren't 2 more. There's only this one. So this is completely legal in Python. You just get these outputs, and it will not crash. But if you try to find an index that does not exist, then you do have a problem, and it will crash. But the way that this is working is this is completely legal. You just get something that is smaller than you may have been intending. Now, also, you could do a check here, just really speed this up if you're dealing with millions and millions of rows of data. If this is less than 3, because you're already here and you're just checking it, then you can go pass continue and continue on. One possible technique to speed things up, just a touch. All right. Let's see. All right, so now that we have this happening, now we need to actually do something. If this, because we're getting this output is correct, equivalent to grouping. Oh, we need our count. We need a counter. Counter equals 0. So if this is true, counter increment by 1. And print. Do we have seats yet? Let's do something. We could turn this into seats. All right, now let's run this. So now the only thing that's going to come out are the 3 blank seats. So here we are. And then counter. Bingo. And then we can do that. Print or return. In this example, they're going to be checking for something. So you would probably put this into a function and then hit return, or return counter. There we are. So now with one quick change here, I changed the size of the number of seating combinations. So now if I needed to go and do 4, now it goes down from 16 to 11. And then 5, I believe these are only 6. If I remember. Yep, 6. And then if we if we wanted 6, there's only 4 of them. Maybe only 3. There are 5 rows. There's only 3. So boom, there we go. We could sit here, and I think in the last example what I did is I actually printed out the seats, because that would be a real world issue. Not only would the person searching for this or utilizing this feature, they would want a list of where the seats were. So we could actually do that. All right. Oh, and Vinky, I don't know if you're still here, but just the other day we hit 1 million views on the channel. That was kind of weird. So yeah, check this out. Got 1 million views and 30,000 watch hours on the channel. Just kind of mind blowing. And probably sometime this month I will hit 13,000 subscribers. So kind of crazy, kind of weird. All right, so let's actually make this more real world. And all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build, let's do, how many are 2? 21. All right. So if we were to want to know where these seats were, let's do combinations empty list. So if we were to also come through here and we want to append, we want to combo dot append we're to have row, row plus 1 and column plus 1. It's not going to be that simple, is it? I think it is. And then print combinations. Now we're gonna test this and see. So we have 0. So 1 and 1. How did I do this? Because that's 16. Oh, okay. That's the 16 seats. But it should actually be 16 times 3, right? I need 48 seats. So I need... Okay. Let's get rid of... Do I have seats yet? No, I have seating. Seats equals 0. Let's just check this. So if you're just joining on, what we're doing is we're going through a problem that we got on Discord a couple years ago. And I like it because it's actually a real world problem. So it's the problem states, you can go back and look in Discord, and it's on look for stadium seating. And what it was is, I think it's in the general Python, under Python chat channels, and it said, how many combinations are there in this cricket stadium? So 0 is an empty seat, 1 is an occupied seat, and the first example you're given is three friends. How many combinations are there? So if you look at the stadium layout, there are 16 possible combinations for you and your 2 friends, the 3 of you, to sit together. These 3, these 3, these 3, these 3. Boom, 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 boom. And there are a total of 16 combinations. So now what we're doing is we're going through, and I was like, well, this is somewhat beneficial. But what happens if, instead of us just telling the people how many seats there are, we actually give them a list of the seat numbers? So let's begin to do that. So let's see. We have this right here. So this is the first seat, but we need to change this just a little bit. So this is going to be seats. So this should be the only 2 occurrences of seats, because I made this mistake earlier today. All right. So the first seat is seating row plus 1. So we're actually going to be passing in. How do we want to do this? So these 3 seats right here would be, let's get this set up. Seating and then we'll just mirror this later. And then 0, 0. All right, so that, oops, then seeding 0, 0, then 1. Let's see if this is working. Okay. And then seeding 0, oops, and then 2. Close this out. Yep. All right, so here we are. So now we got to design this. So we're going to handle, what do we just do? Row plus, because we do have to handle this conversion because the user is not going to care about zero indexing. And these are the things that you need to constantly think about. Ease of use and what does the user want? The user is not going to go, oh, you do zero indexing. I'm going to need to account for that. Hey, Dax, how are you doing? Glad to have you here. Did a faux pas yesterday. Completely streamed yesterday for about an hour and 15 minutes with everything set on private. I was messing around with some stuff on Saturday because I got some stuff that didn't need to be shown, private information, personal details that I did not need shown. And so I marked that video as private, and then I reused the settings for the next video, and that left everything private. So just one more thing to checklist to go through. I think I have Discord unmuted. Yep, haven't seen Nico today. But what we're doing right now is we're going through, and it's another Discord problem. It's from like 2 years ago. I did not think it was that old. These past 2 years have flown by. But it's a stadium seating problem, very interesting problem. And we need to find the number of combinations of, let's say, here's your stadium, and your 3 friends show up. You and 2 friends, there's 3 of you. How many different seating combinations are there? Well, there's 16. But how did I do that? These 3, these 3, these 3, these 3. There's 4 on this row, 4 on this row, 4 on this row. And then, so a 0 is an unoccupied seat. A 1 is an occupied seat. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Boom. So we need to make this a little bit dynamic. So we took our grouping. We took our, so the information that you get from the tests is you get the actual list of lists, the size of the array, the columns and the rows, and the number of seats that you need to find combinations for. So we've gone through and we've already created something that is counting, but I thought we should really step our game up and actually give the printout to the user of the seat combinations. So that's actually where we are right now. So this gobbledygook right here is us trying to find these seats, because they're not going to care. They're going to love that there's 16 combinations, but that's not going to help them choose which seats to use. So we're actually designing that right now, and it's going to be something similar to this. And what I'm going to do is we'll have a list of the row and the seat, and we'll go from there. So if you're just joining on right now, thanks for doing that. If you've not hit the like button, please do that, because I need to juice the numbers from what I did yesterday. All right, so here we are. So this is working. Oh, and also we're going to need to take into account zero indexing. So everything that we're going to track with the seats and the columns, seats and the rows and the seats, we're going to need to increase by 1, because the end user is not going to care that Python is a zero indexing language. They're going to know they're not going to look for seat 0, because, well, people who create seats are not crazy like programmers and haven't had to solve that, you get to start with 1. So we're going to need to account for that. So this seat right here is seat 1-1, seat 1-2, seat 1-3. So we need to fix that. All right. So what I'm thinking is we have something like this come out. That's the first seat. And then here's the second seat. And then here's the third seat. This is what I'm expecting. And then that would be our first entry into our combination list that we'll then output. And we'll go from there. All right. So we need to go through here, right? And now, so our seats, row +1. So that would be, let's clean this up a little bit. Are we doing anything else? I don't want to change it here. I guess I could. Yeah, let's do this. Row increment 1. Not loving this, so we're gonna try this. So what I'm doing is I'm handling our 0 indexing problem. So we're in here, we're moving everything over, we're indexing it up, and yeah. Okay, so seats, column and row. So now my row, I don't need to adjust for 1. Let's see how this goes. Let's try this. Where am I? So then column. Yep. And close that. Because I want... So that's my... Now I want these right here. Hang on. Receive. Well, in that if statement, right, the check will be the room number 0 at the beginning and loop through B200. Ooh, Rapish. Hang on. Let's go back. Let's handle this right here. I think Rapish has a question. Let me clarify and make sure. So you're talking about right here, and counting, then counting. So let's rerun this. All right. So if we're using 2, there are now 21 combinations of 2. Now you're talking about, are we talking about finding the available? Okay, you're good? Autocorrect? Got it. Oh, you're on your phone? Completely understand. So, all right, do we agree that the general algorithm is fine in the if section? So right here. So right now, are you talking about the counting of the actual seats or the documenting of the actual seat numbers? So we have two different problems we're handling. So for us, programmatically, this is testing to kind of more hidden to count the combinations of seats. Now what we're about to do right here is something akin to this, to then create an output in the if section. Okay. Now, are you concerned about the counting of available seats, or are you concerned with actually outputting the actual seat combinations? So for a person, a non-program, the user, the end user, they're going to expect output like this. First row, so we'll go back and forth. First row, seat 1. First row, seat 2. First row, seat 3. That's combination 1. So, okay, no, in the column, if it will be 0 at the beginning, right? So what I mean was in the first loop, it's going to look at the seat row number 0, and then it's going to look at column 2. No. Oh, yes. So 0, 1, 2. Now with slicing, we have, so it's 0, 0, 1, 2. So all right. Let's kind of go back a step. We have seating. Then we're going to check row 2, so we're going to look at index 1. Don't forget about your rules about inclusion and exclusion. So we're going to look at these 3 right here. Then I go Z. So let's dance in between indexing and slicing, because this is vital. So right now I'm looking at this. So don't forget that then when I add the colon, I get the entire list. So now in this example, we're looking at 2. So then I go to 2. So that's including 0 up to 2 excluding 0. So 0, 1. So I'm looking at bingo. Okay, cool. Yep, inclusion, exclusion. So that's where this, so then if I were to look at these 2 right here, 2, that's why I stuck with the 3 example, because when you think about 2, it gets, but when you think of larger numbers, it's easier to differentiate. So if I were to look at the next 2, these right here, I go 1 plus 2 is 3. Bingo. So 1, 2. So, but 0 index, there's index 3 up and 2, but not included. So yeah, very good question. But that's why I really liked the 3, starting with 3, because it was a lot easier to visualize. Because when you're going by 2, I don't know why exactly, I haven't figured out, but that messes with our brain. But when you go 0, 1, 2, 3, you go, okay, 0, 1, 2, wait a minute, 3, that's this. Oh, but I'm looking at 3. So it's always this plus whatever your n is. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. So boom, 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 boom. All right, great, Rapesh, great question. Always, if you're not sure, always ask, because somebody else is going, I want to ask, but I don't want to ask. So just please ask. Or if you just learned it, hey, can you explain this? I think I have it, because I think I heard about this, or I think I read about it. I think. It'll reinforce it. So, all right. So now let's jump back to solving this problem. All right. So what we're doing is now we are going to be converting. Oh, and also while we're having quite a few others jump in, if you can go ahead and hit that the like button for me, I'd really appreciate it, because I need to undo the fantastic job of streaming yesterday with everything set on private. If you can just hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. And if you're brand new here, please make sure you're jumping over to the Discord. And we're having a lot of good conversations over there. All right. So we're counting this. And we don't need to output this because we're changing it. So we're incrementing our column and our... Ooh. This is wrong. Anybody see why this is wrong? Because I will be throwing off my row every time I get through here on column. So I need to do this one time. So we're going to do this the longhand way. All right. Nope. We're not going to do this simple. This is just going to be, everything is going to have a 1 added to it. Let's see what we have so far. 21. And what does seats look like? You can change your stream time by an hour or so. Rapesh, say, can you elaborate on what you mean? I can change the, sorry, is that stream? Yeah. They have a stupid emoji right at the end. Okay. So that you can see it too. I'm in Asia time, so it takes time to reach home from office. Oh, okay. So what time of day is it there? So are you 15 hours ahead of me? Because I'm in U.S. Central, and it is 8:30 here. I'm like 11 Zulu time. Let's see. GTZ. No. Not LTZ. GTZ time. Let's see. UTC time. That's what I'm trying to look for. UTC. They keep changing. It used to be Greenwich Mean Time when I was growing up. UTZ time now. Time converter. Let's see. Yeah, it's 1:34 UTC. Of course, Asia is ginormous. Let's see. 7:20. You're plus 5:45. Oh, a 5:45? Interesting. I was unaware of partial time zones, but the time zones are so weird. To me anyway. Well, that is absolutely very cool. What kind of work do you do? You said reach home from office. Because right now I'm unemployed, if you don't know. I was asked to move for Walmart, and I was not interested in doing that at this time. All right, so this is bad. So row plus 1, column. Oh yeah, we're getting rid of this. No. Okay, yeah. Nepal. Very cool. Oh, that is very, very cool. That's might be the coolest thing. Rapesh. Okay, so column plus 1. I'm in IT, working business for central function consultant. That's awesome. That is very cool. All right, let's run this again. Index out of range. Okay, so that was out of range. Why? Okay. So this wasn't out of range a minute ago. 21. Let's go back to 16. Make sure we haven't changed anything. Go back to 3 to get our 16 answer. 16. Now, why is this out of range? Because I'm not checking, or I don't believe that I'm checking anything. Aha. Row +1, seats. I didn't think I was changing anything. I'm not incrementing anymore. Because I'm not changing anything. Row plus 1. 1. Oh, think I got it. Perfect. Okay. So let me show you what I did. Python's trying to figure out what in the world are you doing. So I was sitting here and it was trying to interpret what I was trying to index instead of whatever it thought I was trying. It tried to make a best guess of the garbage that I had in here. So right now, combo. All right, so let's look at this. So this is not right. This is not what I want. I want the output to look. Where did I have it? Where did I have it? Now here's the downside of, well, there's a lot of downsides of being dyslexic, but you're a very good problem solver if you're dyslexic. I've learned that. I want this. I want it to look like this. Let's see. How's the lighting doing? All right. And right now, can I copy this? Yeah, I can. Copy. 1, 2, 3. Bingo. That's what I wanted to do. What does it look like now? Not even close. Okay. So this is because I want seat 1, column 1. All right. Let's see. Why is the counter 16 when you have group members to be 3? Okay. Great question. Because let's go back here. So you probably jumped on after we got through here. So in our arrangement, when you have 5 times 4 is 20 combinations. Okay. Your premise is off. So great question. So let's go through here. So in a row that's completely empty, there are 4. So 4 groups of 3s, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 combinations of empty seats. If you do not see that yet, let me know in chat and I'll go back through it and we'll start all the way over. And let me see how far back. Oh, okay. Cool. All right, let's start that over. Rapish, did you see that, or if you need me to go over it again? Actually, I'm just going to go over it again. So Rapish was asking, why is the output? So if we're looking for 3, if we have 3 friends that are going to the stadium, and the correct answer is 16, I guess it'd be the other way. It'd be that way. How in the world? Cool. All right. So yes, bingo. All right, we got it. So if somebody has that, we'll go over it again, because this was actually a sticking point in the person who asked this question. They were trying to do something. Let me just show you. So they were stuck and they thought it was something like this. And it's just how all of our brains are wired, understanding the problem. So visualization is easy for me. So it's almost like the more complicated it is, the easier it is for me to see, and the simpler it is. Like I was at jiu-jitsu yesterday, and I drove the instructor a little nuts because he's like, no, move your hips in. And I'm like, all right, what is your definition of in? So I moved him a different way. He's like, no, the other way. I'm like, oh, see, to me, that's out. So it's all how we see things. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all how we see things. So seeing that is super simple for some people. For me, that is super simple. And for others, and I completely get it because there are basic things that people tell me, and I'm like, I don't get it. You're going to need to talk real slow. Vinky combination. Is that it, Vinky? I think Vinky's got it. Now we need to handle incrementing by 1, don't we? Because so we need to do row 1, row 1, row 1, row plus 1, row plus 1, and then column plus 1, column plus 2, column plus 3, right? All right. I think Vinky has a solution, so we're going to go and do that. But, so again, cool is from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Is it? Okay. I've never watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think one of my kids has done it, but I didn't think any of my kids watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But they may, or it was a meme or something like that. I get hassled by my kids. Yeah, Dax, I don't know. Actually, I don't want to. Don't answer. I don't know about anonymity and how everybody wants to handle this on the internet. But yes, my kids hassle me all the time. They make fun of me a lot. Most of it's funny. I like my old work culture, especially back in the building. It was rough. If you didn't have thick skin, you were gonna get ate up, and especially if you did not have a sense of humor, it was not gonna go well for you. So all right, Dax, I think you were joining a little bit after, but let me just show you. A couple days ago, hit 1 million views on the channel. Want to tell you thank you very much. You were one of the original members, and then 30,000 hours. 30,000 hours of watch time. So what is that? Divided by 24. And then divide that by 7 days a week. Divide that by 52. So that is the equivalent of 3.43 years of individuals watching my YouTube channel, which is extremely humbling. Netflix. Don't get the reference. I appreciate it. All right, so Rapish, row I plus 1. Row should be dynamic based on group member number. Oh, that's a great point. That is a very, very good point. It does need to be dynamic, doesn't it? That is Rapish, that is a very outstanding point. So we need to solve that problem first. So we need to know. So that would need to be. So my brain goes to. So the largest number. So if it would be n. So n times. Let's begin to design this. So it'd be something like this. Oh, Rapish, that's a great. Yeah, because we were going to hard code this for 3. And Rapish is exactly right. So it would need to be... How would we need to do that? So wrap that around. So it would be a blank. That'd be wrapped around times n. So we would, okay. Row. Then we need to decrement from the largest. Oh, I like this a lot. Rapesh is a great point, because I was about to hard code this, and I was going to cheat, and it was going to be completely wrong. I was going to have a false positive. I was going to be a broken clock, but only write once. I guess I'd have to be a broken military clock. Yeah, I don't know if... See, for us in the U.S., we call a military clock military time when we use the 24 hours. I'm naive to the fact about around the globe if it's a 24-hour clock or a 12-hour clock. Because, yeah, I just learned in Nepal, their time zone is UTC plus 45 minutes, a quarter of an hour. So that is extremely interesting to me. All right. Yeah, we have state, and then here also in the States, we have daylight saving time. Dex can speak to that. Then we have states inside of, So column, and then we would need to append. Then we need to iterate. Then we would need to iterate through. Ooh, Dax or Rapesh, I like that. So we would do. Let's see what that looks like. Did you test it? Does it work? Row, column, then inside. Yeah. Then here times in, and then close that. Okay. So not quite right. So we would need to iterate through. Oh, that might solve our problem. Hang on. Check this out. So if we were to just loop. So for I in range, check this out. Haven't tested. Okay. So yeah, so when we do that, we get something like this, because it puts it into a list. But tell me if you like this right here. So let's do what's row right now? 4. Let's change row to 1. So check this out. So row. Then no. For I think I'm a little. So, and then n is 3. So for n, now check this out. So, because if we were to change, so row won't change, but column will. Right? And then we move over. So it'd be row. Yeah. Here we go. Plus, let's make column 1 as well. Check this out. So we have. I don't know why I'm going to check these. I just saw that I assigned them. For I in range n, then print column. Check this out. Row. Yep. Column plus I. Bingo. Just made it dynamic. Solved our problem. We can actually put that in the list comprehension. Everybody like it? Everybody agree? We're going to do this in a list comprehension right here. And then this solves making it dynamic. So whatever the length of bingo. Here we go. This is why I'm going to quote a man. I love this guy. I had a boss. Actually, it's my boss's boss. But he was so cool. He just would come and find me and we'd walk and talk. He was my my last assistant general manager. And that he would just get so excited when we would stuff a bunch of different people in a room and we just start all brainstorming and coming up with stuff. And he goes, this is what, I mean, like you could see him just get excited. He goes, this is what it's like having different people who think different ways in a room. And this is exact, because I was about to completely miss and I was about to hard code this and I was going to be wrong. I was going to be false positive. So Rapish goes, hey, we're going to have a problem because it needs to be dynamic and you're about to code this. But Rapish did it in a very, very nice way. Said, doesn't need to be dynamic because should be dynamic based on group member number. 1,000%. So now we need to change this a little bit, and it's going to kind of solve our problem with this. So seats. Everybody know list comprehension? If you do not know list, let's just do list comprehension here. So list comprehension is very, very cool because we want this to be in a list anyway. So let's just check this out. So I can, all right, let's just look at it. So this is basically your indented. For I in range 2. And I'm saying put this in a list 1 and 2. Now, check this out. So if I were to come up here and I were to want to go bingo, Vinky. Vinky, you're extremely close. So check this out. 0, because row's not going to change, right? See what I did? This is, don't worry. This was so foreign to me. This seems so weird. And I'm actually kind of shocked that I can still visualize this, but I've done it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and it's bashed into my subconscious. And I just give things to my subconscious, and I don't think about it anymore, because if you're familiar with anybody with ADHD, they're all over the place. So if you give your subconscious going, hey, why don't you think about this? And then your subconscious is like, okay, now I have something to do, instead of going to think about something crazy like, hey, what happens if this happens? So hypotheticals. My brain used to run about hypotheticals all the time, and I was like, I think I'm psychotic. No, not psychotic, just ADHD. So now I give myself these type of puzzles all the time. So now these are my seat combinations. So now I do, so it'd be the equivalent of row. Let's just check. Let's just test and see and make sure. So row 1, seat, and then it'd be column, then +1. Always moving over. So now we just did it here. So this will be what we want here for each individual. Then once we make seats, then we want seats to go into our combinations. Make sense? All right. So we've just come up with our algorithm to handle this with Rapish's awesome help of pointing out a huge gap in my logic. I call it, you don't think about it till you think about it. All right, so let's get this column. And this needs to be in. Does everybody understand why this needs to be in? If you do not get it, it's fine. It's these right here, because this is our number of combinations. So row plus 1, I plus 1. So the plus 1 is handling going from our programming 0 based index to our 1 of what the user will care about. User goes, well, this is seat 1. I'm not going to go to seat 0. You're stupid. Well, Python had to make a decision and go from there. So now let's run this and see what happens. So now combo. All right, let's go through and do our test. So 1, is this the output we want? I think so. So let's clean this up a little bit. For I in combo, print I. All right, awesome. Got rid of some brackets, so I made this a little bit neater. So this is a list of lists of lists of lists. All right, that probably had a couple too many lists in here, but all right. So here's our grouping, and then inside that we have a row and a seat, row and a seat, row and a seat. So row 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now so the way that I'm looking at this, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 combinations. There are 4 combinations in our first row. Now we have a little bit of a problem right here. These are all the same seats. But we have the right number of counts. So, all right. So we're halfway there. We're halfway here. Let's deduce. Let's find out what is going on. So our problem is our column. Better print this. Better to print this. Repeat. Expand upon that. Because right now I have a problem with this. Oh, this is supposed to be column plus I? Plus I. Hang on. All right, let's run this. That's kind of a shot in the dark. Print combo. With the seating arrangement, more visual than simple list inside of list. Oh, yes. Dupes, always a problem. Yes. All right. Whoa. Okay. Oh, let's go. There we go. And end and print. Here we go. All right. So I kind of threw a shot in the dark. So let's go back. Let's go back to this right here. This is why I also like doing. So I did a shot in the dark of what I did. So this was, of course, I is repeating itself. So this, I made this I plus 1. So of course, every single thing, because we're looking at the wrong occurrence, I'm wanting this to create the number of seats. I'm not going to be using I as, well, I am going to use I, but I is not my base. My base is column. And I'm adding 1 to my I to move it over to handle my 0 indexing. Well, so, but I'm also missing my column. So if you look then, this next go round, I have column plus 1 handling my 0 index, plus my number of seats. And then now I have it. So I have seat 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. My first combinations. Now here's my second combinations. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. So, all right, that's solved. Now let's come down here and make sure that this example, so it's row 2. We're going to look at row 2, seat 3, okay, 4, 5, perfect. Let's check this bad boy. 4, 5, 6, okay. And then we have 1, 2, 3. It's these 3, so we know that. And then here we are on our last row, which is, there's 4 combinations, which is going to match exactly our, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So this is a souped up version of, with Rapish's help, of making this extremely dynamic. So does everybody know what I really did to go from to fixing this problem of duplicates to getting this to be correct? Because I was partially accurate. That is the best. I was repeatedly creating the same seats, because let's go up here, because I was just repeating I over and over and over again. Does that make sense? And then I kind of felt pretty confident where I made my mistake. Everybody get that? So we're at, let's see. All right, we've had some people come and join and drop probably. So if you've not hit that like button, please hit that like button. And if you've also not joined the Discord server, I think we're up to let me see. We are at 317 members on our Discord, and told my sons about it. And they about flipped out because they've been trying to build up their community for a while, and I'm like, look, it's just consistency, but I'm quite a bit older than they are. So, all right, any questions on this? So we've made this so dynamic with the help of individuals on the stream. Rapish, thank you very much. Awesome catch. Anybody else want to talk about before we wrap up for the day? And thank you everybody for joining today and clicking on the live stream, because yesterday was really bad. Was frustrated if you haven't heard what I did, as I streamed for about an hour and a half on a private live stream. I did not have the proper settings, so that was a little bit mortifying. Do I have this low enough? Hang on. Where does that go? All right. Yeah. Let's see. Yep, that's at the bottom of the screen. I wanted to make sure that you guys weren't missing anything. So now we can also test and make sure that everything. This is very important. Testing and make sure, double checking. So we were doing basically a validation test on our logic when we were doing some SQL a few weeks ago. Oh, and I found out you guys absolutely, or the community, not you guys here, the community does not care for SQL at all. They do not they do not want to learn SQL on a Python channel. So we're not going to do much SQL after all. As I was going to show you guys some stuff. So the reason why I did this is I wanted to validate and make sure that it still was 16. It seemed like 16, but let's make this better by printing available seats for person booking. Oh, okay. So you want to, let's see, for seats in combo, print seats. I think this is what Rapesh is thinking. You want that, or you want it? You want to go down. You want to go down a layer. So for seats in seat in seats, print seat. Let's see what this does. I don't know if I'm visualizing this going down. No, because hang on. Let's go back. Down a layer. Okay. But now it looks like that. So zoom, boom, 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 boom. I guess there was a lot more seats. Let's maybe print like a board. Oh, okay. Hang on. All right, so, okay. I think I know what you're saying. So you want, hang on. Okay, let me try something, and then you tell me if you like this. We'll go down a layer, but with a caveat. So for seat and seats, print seat with an end you like that? How does so what I did is, has everybody seen this before? Because this is a very easily used, and it cleans up some stuff. Rapesh, is that kind of what you were thinking? And then you can have, I guess if we really wanted to get, well, then we'd be back to just printing off, and we make them, because they're going to just want to be able to grab. Because if this was a user, they'd be like, "Ooh, I want these," and then they go and grab them. Yeah, print the same line, but wanted it to be more visual. Okay, so awesome. Have you seen this? Right. So we went down a layer, but then we also didn't. So we unpacked it, but we kept it on the same line. So has everybody seen this before? So this end with this string. So if you look really close here at the print statement. Okay, let's move this up. Now I know that's completely in the. There we go. All right. So I'll try to move this really slow. So if you do not know default arguments, the print function is heavily defaulted. So it's a function built in for you, print stuff to the screen, blah, 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 blah. All right. Now, it defaults to separation of a space. It defaults to the end being a new line. So every time you hit print, it's going to move it down to a line. So as we're here, it hits a seat, and it goes down to the next line. So in this loop, it's going boom, 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 boom. But by me going end, I'm changing the default. I'm changing it to a new line, and I'm saying new. print me an empty space. I want it side by side. So we could come up here and add a space. Let's go do that. Let's make this an empty space right here. So you could go and decide, do you like it? Do you want them on top of each other, or do you like this little space? Oh, I'm on a different screen. I can't see anybody in chat. Is that an R? You want to do is that what you wanted? Because I guess I'm unfamiliar with, what does the R do? I know new line, tab. I could have sworn I knew something else, but let's see. What is Python? What is that? What does do? Breaks code where the Python script and R in general. That's a horrible explanation. I need to. These are all on Reddit and Quora. I need to do Python documentation. Python. Oh, R. No. Documentation. Documentation. Backwards. No. It got rid of this. It keeps going up regular expression. So it looks like, let's see. Carriage return brings the cursor back to the front line, gives an effect of progress bar. Oh, okay. Never used that. So we'll leave this as an empty space. So now the end user has an example of this right here. But now we used this right here, and then I kill it once I get, depending on how new you are and the use of for loops. So as we're proceeding, the reason why I have to have this here is here, let me just show you. So if I were to get rid of this and run this right here, it puts it all on the same line until it word wraps to the end. So I need to uncomment this and run this. So what I'm doing is once I get through, so seats is a list with the contents of 3 objects. So it goes through here 3 times, 1, 2. So we're going to look at this last line. So 1, 2, 3. But if we were looking at the first line, gets here, 1, 2, 3. Then it does this 3 times, which happens to be the length of this. That's why it does this 3 times, because it's whatever the length of this, it's going to do that operation. Then for row and seating, print join row. Oh, yes. Would that... would we need to do that in this example, Vinky? So, because we would need to... I guess is that if we wanted to make... maybe use A for available seating. Oh, well, we'd get... Yeah, but then we're starting to get into... So the user doesn't care about that. We would be doing more work for ourselves to handle it on the back end. The user is only going to care about this. And we would have some other graphical representation here. But right now... Let's just say we don't have the capability. Well, right now we don't have the capability of. We will get a bunch of A. It doesn't make sense. Okay. What? Okay, hang on. We will get a bunch of A's. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I mean I see your point, but we're trying to handle how do we want to make this look? Do we want to make this look better? But what I really want to drive home is the logic here for anybody who's jumping on the stream. So if you're just jumping on, one, please do me a favor and hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Had a horrible stream yesterday. So, but the order of operations. So what you're going to hear me say a lot, and when you're a new programmer, you get tired of hearing, okay, hang on, Rapish. If you can circle, then only, hang on. If we can circle, then only it will be apparent. Rapish, sorry, I'm not following. If we can circle, then only it be apparent. You're talking about when we circle these? Yes. Because right now, let's say this is hidden from the user and they can't see, we don't, our technology, let's say in our scenario right now, this is only hidden in the background. Okay. This is only hidden in the background and we can only tell them our first, that's not good. Our first iteration, we could tell them that there's 16 combinations. And they could go to the gate and maybe hopefully see where those are. Now let's say our next iteration in our platform is not only can we tell them that there are 16, but then we can actually tell them where they are. Now, of course, the applications that are out there now are extremely like hang on, Rapish, okay. Like if the user could see the circle, it would be more apparent. Yes, but how about we say that we don't have the technology to show them this. We're bootstrapping this on the back end. And let's say it's a text, completely text. And because that was, I'm old enough to know, you guys may or may not know about this, but there are actually text adventure games where you would read and you'd have to keep track of, did I go north? Did I go south? Did I go east and west? And you were actually interacting and typing what was happening. So you'd have a bunch of if. So in the program, you would have a bunch of if scenarios. So if they went north, you tell them they can't because there's a forest there, or there's a gnome or an orc, and they have to defeat the orc. But how about we say Tetris used text base in the beginning? It did. I saw that movie that it was originally I think just X's and O's, and he had them move through. Very, very interesting. And then he was able to figure out the graphics and then go from there. So don't know how accurate the movie was, but I absolutely loved that. I went and I didn't went. When we finally got Apple TV at my place. Yep, USSR. I was very, very intrigued by it, and then the interpersonal relationships of how they got started and the trials and tribulations. But yes, very intrigued by the programming aspect of it too. But we're way off in the weeds now. But what I'm really wanting to drive home here is, it's a good story. And I did like at the end where it had pieces of real footage of them coming to the U.S. and things like that. All right. But want to drive home this right here, because if you can use this and you can do it. Actually, one of my most recent / most, oh boy. Sunlight's starting to come through. I didn't know if we'd have this issue this morning. Sorry, everybody. Let's do that. That'll at least block it for a few minutes. And we're coming up on an hour and 46 minutes, so we're probably going to drop here in a minute. But where was I going with this? Oh, the number triangle. So I showed a video again of creating a number triangle, and it was this, and it was 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2. Well, that's not lining up. And it was this. And let me drag this up here. Three, 4, 5. Okay, paint is not that good at this. Does that look like it's in a row? So what the point, and all kinds of lighting is going bad. All right, but what the point of this exercise is to get you comfortable with order of operations, handling steps, and how am I going to get stuff to work? There we go. Because if you can do this, it's very simple, but it's not as simple as you think it is until you think about it. And everybody knew that I teach or tutor or help is I try to get them to think about this problem right here, because it's vital to your understanding of programming. And I know it sounds silly, because I've also thrown up the 3 dots. There are 3 rows of dots. And I say, how can you navigate all of these dots? And I say, turn right, come down, walk all the way back, come down, all the way back, come down, all the way back. So, because that's repeatable. It's a set of instructions that you're able to do over and over and over again to get it to work. Because when you're writing a program, you need it to work in all situations. So you need to think of all situations. So one of the first things that you saw me do in real time was I began edge case testing. And I didn't realize until I started really talking about it and thinking about it, you do edge case testing to thoroughly understand what is happening. So this is why you get the output and why I should talk about this, or you get 16, because you have to understand what are you actually doing. Because at first you go, it depends on your interpretation of how you decide things. There is your interpretation, there's someone else's interpretation, and then there's the right interpretation. So there's always 3 interpretations: your way, my way, and the right way, if that makes sense. Had an old coworker tell me that a long time ago. There's 3 ways of doing something: your way, my way, and the right way. And the joke was nobody understands. No one knows the right way. All right, that handled the light. I guess sun went behind some clouds, but I got some really blurry stuff. All right. Any questions before we drop today? So we're coming up on Discord says an hour and 50 minutes. OBS says, hour and 50 minutes. Okay, cool. All right. Any questions before we drop today? Anything quick, anything short? And also, please make sure you're jumping over to Discord and dropping any questions, anything you want to talk about, because all of these discussions have come from Discord. I still have the outlier problem of the parentheses. I think I drove some of y'all nuts with let's test by changing the board a bit. All right. What you talking about? Seating? You want to change this? Rapesh, is that what you wanted to change? Do we want to make it, you want to make it bigger or smaller? Okay. You want to make it bigger or smaller? You want to add, how about we add, oops, I just knocked over my green screen. Hang on. Yep. I need to come up with a better, there we are. How is that coloring? That coloring is awful. I am orange. Okay. That's a little bit better. That's back to normal. Bigger. All right. So how about we come through here. Let's do something a little weird and just add. Somebody comes through and they want to get one seat in the middle of everything. One seat in the middle of everything. This is kind of what you're seeing. You want to see if this is a great edge case. All right. You want to try that? All right. So we added a row. We added a column. Let's see. Awesome. So we added a column right in the middle, an occupied seat. So how about we say somebody came through and they wanted to sit together where they could lean forward and talk back and forth. I've actually seen people do that at football games. They want to sit on the end. They like the end and they want to talk back and forth. So, all right. So let's go ahead and test this. So right now it's 3. So that'll work. So we only have 2 rows, 2 settings at the top. First row, we'd have 3 at the beginning and 3 at the end. All right, let's see if that worked. 3 at the beginning, 3 at the end. Then nothing here. 3 at the end. And then 3 at the beginning on row 3. And then same thing. 2 at the beginning. 2 on row 4. 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end. 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end. All right. So it seems to be working exactly the way that we are testing. So great edge case testing. Is there anything? That's a great question. Anything else we want to talk about? So we're probably going to wrap up here in a minute. But if you guys have questions or anything you want to talk about tomorrow, please drop them over on Discord, because then I'll be able to see what's going on. All right? We'll probably wrap up here in a minute. Anything else pertinent? All right, everyone. This has been an awesome day. This will fail if columns aren't the same. Yep. But you can also think about it. In a stadium, it would be the same. So you'd have the same number of, you'd have a seat equivalent behind it. But yes, you're 100%. It would exactly fail. More than likely, because I guess we can test that tomorrow, or you can try it. You can try it yourself. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's just try it. I think it would fail. Nope. Does not fail. I guess you could have a row at the top that has like a press box that something juts out here, or the seat is or the seed is damaged, or we could repeat it. I guess it would just go to a 0. Unoccupied, unoccupiable. No. Oh, we'd have a different scenario. Change it to like an X if it can't be used. But yeah, I guess I thought it was going to fail, but no, it just removed one of the combinations. It went from 8 to 7. Okay. Great edge case testing, Rapish. That's very, very good. All right. So that's probably it. We're really close at 2 hours now. I think we've covered quite a bit. I have no idea what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Hopefully, maybe today I can solve the parenthesis problem, and we can go from there. But all right, everyone. Thank you as always. Great chat. Great questions. Rapish, awesome job. You get a star today. And I will see everyone and talk to everyone tomorrow. All right. Hope everyone has a good rest of their day.